Hi, Csaba here, back with another proven sales letter breakdown video that I'm doing for 90 days. If you're new to this whole thing, basically what I'm doing is a challenge, exactly. So I'm hand copying proven copywriting samples for 90 days at least, and I'm analyzing them each day. I'm doing daily videos on my findings and why they work, why they were so effective, and how you can also replicate their success. So today I'm gonna look at another Gary Halbert ad. And by now, if you've been following along, then you know that I love Gary Halbert. I love his style. He was just one of those original gangster copywriters who basically invented the whole craft and who basically created most of the techniques that even to this day most copywriters use. And don't make the mistake of thinking that because these ads are old, like they're decades old, 50, 60, 70 years old in some cases, that it's outdated or something like that. That couldn't be farther from the truth. In fact, I would say that Gary was still a better copywriter than 99% of copywriters today, 99.5% of copywriters today, and he basically invented this whole stuff. So, to be honest, guys, I looked at a lot of promotions nowadays, and I see what most companies are doing, and most of their copywriters, they're basically kind of copying most of the stuff that Gary Halbert, Gary Bensavenga, and all these original badass copywriters actually invented. So there's nothing new under the sun. Sure, you have some new ideas here and there, but like learning from these original pieces of copywriting art is basically, I think, one of the best ways to get better at the craft of copywriting itself, because who better to learn from than from the creators themselves? So today we're going to look at another ad from Gary, which isn't long at all. So it was basically just published in a newspaper. So it was a newspaper, a space ad, it's also called. And if you look at it, basically it doesn't necessarily look like an ad itself. Sure, you have the price there, so it's more of a direct offer, but it looks like a trivia article. And sure, you have the order form as well, but and I don't know, I don't really read newspapers or something like that, but this thing definitely didn't really look that apart from the other articles that were on the next page or the previous page, okay? So it looks like Hollywood-style trivia. And Gary lived in Los Angeles, so it's definitely fitting, but it has news value. And check out the pre-head, because we have the headline complex here, we have the pre-head, and we have the post-head. So the pre-head says, top Hollywood stars absolutely swear by it. So think about it. What does it mean? Like, it has an instant buzz factor. Top Hollywood stars absolutely swear by it. So, most people, they know that their life is kind of boring. That's the truth. And the reason why most people look at Hollywood for inspiration, for fashion, for like even what to think about regarding all sorts of things that are happening in the world, they look at stars because they see stars as these interesting people who live lavish lifestyles, okay, and who usually look good, they're sexy, they're desirable. And then most people believe that Hollywood stars, they have some type of secret, or at least several types of secrets, okay? And this article, this ad, actually, the sales letter, is all about teasing the secret on how Hollywood stars basically stay young, especially women, because this is aimed at women, okay? And I think this works really well, because like what the target audience, who's like a middle-aged woman, wants from this is to also look younger, look as young as they actually feel. And obviously, since this is the big benefit that they want, this is the headline that Gary used very smartly. So he says, amazing new formula from Beverly Hills lets you look years younger. So amazing new, these are powerful words in advertising. People usually want something amazing and new. Now, probably you wouldn't necessarily use this like this today because it's been overused so much, okay? If you were to come out amazing new, like you instantly destroy your credibility because people don't believe it anymore, because everybody, that's what I said in the beginning of the video, everybody tried to copy this and they copied it thousands and thousands of times, okay? So now you have to be smarter about it. But in those times, it definitely worked. And it can still work if you do it smartly. So, amazing new formula from Beverly Hills. So, again, Beverly Hills, this has this, so this must be what the celebrities are also using, right? It has that secret factor a little bit. Lets you look years younger. So this is the main thing that our target audience is looking for, the number one benefit, to look younger, actually, because then they will feel like they deserve more, they will feel sexier, they will feel more confident and stuff like that. Only 39, so this is a direct offer, as I said. And then the subhead says, wouldn't you like to look as young as you feel? So I like this for two reasons. First of all, it's a philosophical question. So it's like, wouldn't you like to look as young as you feel? This gets people thinking, and that's a good thing to have, to like start people's internal mechanisms and how they actually think about themselves. But the other important thing here is that most women feel younger inside than they look, especially in this age group, like women between like 40 to 50 or something. They still feel young in many cases, but they notice that they don't look as young anymore. So I think that this, again, this whole headline complex is very powerful. And you can also use something like this in your own copywriting projects or in your own like advertisements to like have a something that has a news value, have a benefit-driven headline, and then you have something that backs up the headline, basically. And then the copy itself isn't long at all. So basically we have a little bit of introduction section, which basically introduces the wife of a famous celebrity. So TOVA Borgnine. Her husband, actually Gary also had a famous ad that sold a perfume under TOVA Borgnine's name, but this whole name brings up because like it's relevant because in those times, and I think this was the 60s in Hollywood, like her husband and even her were like top celebrities, okay? Obviously nowadays we don't even know much about them, at least I don't know much about them, and probably you neither, but it's very nice to be able to like use the name of a celebrity so that they people associate your product with the name of the celebrity. It instantly adds that credibility factor. So that's why it adds instant proof. So by saying, you know, like Hollywood stars like Debbie Reynolds, Connie Stevens, and Brenda Vaccaro, like they are using the same secret. And then instead of going deep into the product itself, we have a bunch of testimonials. So this specific ad relies very heavily on proof and on testimonials. And I think it's really smart here because it's a direct offer. Probably, you know, the target audience has been pitched so many times before about all these skin creams and these like look beautiful and stuff like that. But Gary knew this, and then he didn't just want to like do a big promise like, hey, now you look years younger. But people think, so what? And that's why he has a bunch of testimonials here, all written in a language that the target audience would use. So these testimonials probably are also based on research. Like when researching what to write, because copywriters research a lot, like he came up with a few benefits and problems and stuff like that he can use, and then he used testimonials which basically highlighted those same things to make it even more powerful. And then after it, we have another type of testimonial style benefit. So that what's the benefit here? Once again, it's like it makes you look years and years younger with the very first application. So what else should you write as a like sub headline or something like that? This is the perfect one. It looks like a testimonial. He probably just extracted it from an already existing testimonial, and it also includes the number one benefit that people want. Again, one more testimonial here, and then we get to the main copy itself, actually. So again, it starts with the question. It's like, what has TOVA Borgnine discovered? The answer is fascinating. It is a mysterious formula that comes from the roots of a cactus plant that was first discovered by the Aztec Indians hundreds of years ago. So this is a genius start for an ad, because it starts with a question, which again is kind of like a philosophical question, but then it heavily, very, very heavily teases something, like a unique new mechanism. It's like, so what's in it? It's like, it's the secret of Hollywood stars. And the reason why it works is because it has this special compound from like newly discovered plant that like was well known to the Aztec Indians, but like it got lost over time and now somebody rediscovered it. So people love that stuff, okay? It has trivia value, it has like the secret value, and people always want to uncover secrets. And it's super powerful because it also makes sense. It's like, as people are reading it, okay, so I knew they were up to something, these Hollywood like stars, and now I know their secrets. So it's like this super interesting plant, this Aztec Indian plant. Like, how can I also get some of that for myself? So it's interesting, and it also like it sends the message of like, finally you can also look years younger. It's this whole thing, it's not just for Hollywood celebs, okay? It's like how in Greek mythology, Prometheus basically stole fire from the gods and gave it to normal people, okay? It's just like that. Like this TOVA Borgnine basically stole the secret of Hollywood celebrities, and now she's willing to give it to you for only $39. So obviously in those times, $39 was something like, I don't know, $150 nowadays, or $130. So it's basically, it's not cheap, but it's not that much. So like you have tons of perfumes that cost like $130. So it's like if you were to buy, I don't know, Dior Sauvage or something, that also costs like $120 or something. So it's definitely manageable and payable. But it's like, wouldn't you like discover the secret of celebrities for only that amount of money? Of course you would, if you were in the target audience. And probably, you know, people in this target audience, they were rich women or something. Like they have the money for this. Their husbands have the money for this. So why not? It just makes sense. It just makes sense. After it, we continue with a big promise. So like, again, Gary says that the stars who use it say it works like magic. The entire process only takes half an hour and blah, blah, blah. So since insiders are all saying this, like it's angled as if insiders were saying it, it again lends instant credibility to the whole idea, and it also assumes that this has to be something good, because otherwise insiders wouldn't be using it. So it's a very nice psychological trigger that Gary used with this one. And it's also super easy to use. Again, something that's important for a target audience. They don't want complicated stuff with this. They want something that's super easy to use, and then basically it's like as easy as ABC. You just apply it, it does its magic, and that's it. You're gonna look years younger. So it's basically like you are buying youth with this. That's the whole like higher level promise. And I think it's super powerful in this regard, because that's what people actually want. And then it also helps that you have this big picture of the stylish woman here. Now it's in black and white, so you can barely see this this panther. I'm guessing it's a panther. Again, it's in my last video I talked about the man in the Hathaway shirt. So how that eye patch guy in David Ogilvy's ad was responsible for creating this feeling of like this mysterious character. And if you buy those shirts, then you can also become mysterious and more exciting and adventurous. Well, it's kind of similar to this as well. Like if you buy this, then you'll become like this exotic, beautiful woman who's like, isn't that young, but still looks like beautiful. And she has this dangerous feline with her. And then, you know, it creates this kind of air of mystique and danger and sexiness in one way or another. And then you have an interesting quote by TOVA Borgnine under the picture, which is great because it's one of the best places to put important stuff under pictures, because people many times read it. So I'm so positive my formula will take years off your appearance that I'll not only send you a refund if you're not 100% satisfied, but I'll send you a free $21 gift immediately just for trying it. So this is kind of the offer itself, the essence of the offer just reiterated. Okay, so for people who don't really read the whole thing, this encapsulates the essence of the whole offer. Like, you get this, and you also get a money back guarantee, and I'm also gonna give you a cool bonus. So it's really powerful. But we still have some copy here that Gary uses to basically persuade people even more, because he's basically, what is he doing? Like, he's basically systematically deconstructing objections that people might have when it comes to this product. So first, he deconstructed the objection of like, I don't believe it. Well, he gave a bunch of proof for this. Then he deconstructed the objection of like, yeah, but this sounds like, I don't know, a hoax or something. Well, he gave reasons why this works. Like, he explained that there's a unique mechanism here. Then he countered the objection of, yeah, but you know, I'm special and I can't really use it anyway. So then he deconstructed this by saying that, you know, this works for everybody and it's super easy to use. And then he deconstructed the objection that, you know, what if this doesn't work for me? And then he basically said that this is idiot proof. So again, a bunch of objections deconstructed, and that's one of the key objectives of copywriting, is to deconstruct objectives so that people actually buy, so that they become persuaded to actually do something. So after those objection handling parts, we still have like benefits once again, and they're angled as news style benefits. So like it seems, the whole thing seems like, again, a discovery, a news element or something. And then we have another objective preemptively answered, and this one relates to risk. So this is the first time in the main copy itself, in the body, that Gary mentions that there's no risk to you. He also mentions it later that there's a money back guarantee. So basically it's a win-win situation. You can't lose with it, okay? You can just try it. You also receive a free gift, and if you don't like it, you receive it. It's a user-friendly proposition. So why wouldn't people take it, especially in those times when not everybody was so super skeptical and the market itself wasn't necessarily so saturated. So in the last, few paragraphs, basically we have another question. It's like, want to steal the secret of successful stars? So this just creates more desire in people. And then we have just a call to action. Like, do you want to try this? Do you want to steal the secret of Hollywood celebrities? Well, if you do, here's what you should do. And then there's a little explanation of what they should do. We have the future pacing after it, which is very smart. It's a very smart thing to do after any call to action or after any place where you're specifically instructing people to do something. So the way how it works is that you also explain it a little bit, like what happens after you make this decision. So after you buy, you can expect this, and you're gonna look amazing, and you're gonna feel better, and your life's gonna change, and you're gonna be happier, and all these things. Then we have another jab at the money back guarantee. Remember, you can't lose, so it's a win-win situation. And then here we have the ordering instructions, because first of all, remember, this target audience is middle-aged women, so they aren't necessarily used to complicated stuff like this. So if you can, and this also works for PhDs as well. Like, if you're selling to PhDs or if you're selling to even kids or something, it doesn't matter. It's still very advisable to have a detailed how to order, because people get distracted. They start wondering whether this is a scam. They get confused, and there's a big saying in copywriting, and it's this: a confused mind doesn't buy, because they're confused. So anything that can lower confusion will generally increase your conversion rates, because it just makes the whole buying process much, much easier. Okay, so we have the ordering instructions. We have an alternative purchase method, so that, you know, if you live like in California area, then you can buy it like in real life as well. And then we have the fast action bonus, which is this gift. Like if you order now within 10 days, then you're gonna get also a free gift worth $21. So it makes the price basically seems like $28 only, not $18 only. So it's pretty cool. So it's trivialized. This just trivializes the price. And then we have an order form, which was a specific in those times. Nowadays, you still, by the way, have something like this in the sense of a checkout page. So the checkout page kind of still serves as the order form even to this day. And I really like how Gary used it in the first person. So it's from a first person perspective for the reader. So it's not like, hey, buy this, but it says, yes, I would like to look years younger by using the formula you have discovered. I am enclosing 39 plus, you know, postage and handling, and I understand blah 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 that there's a money back guarantee. So by doing this, you know, people are reading it and they start self-hypnotizing themselves with this. It's like, yes, I want this. Okay, it's a great thing to use on your call to action buttons as well. Not just say add to cart or like buy now, but it's like, yes, I want to get started or something like that. So yeah, that's it for this ad. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, don't worry that this isn't a new ad or something like that. It doesn't matter. If you read it, you'll just see how easy it flows, how it's not fluffy at all. You just have the things that are important for conversions, and you better believe that this worked really well. I mean, there's no wonder why Gary is considered one of the top copywriters of all time, and I generally also encourage you to hand copy this, because if you do, it doesn't take long. You'll start internalizing, you know, what makes good copywriting, and you can definitely learn even more from it. So thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.